Hello everyone, welcome to our second episode, and today we're going to talk about something very short and interesting. Basically, we're going to talk about two things, and that's the occupation within the cyberspace, and those are some of the occupations within the cyberspace. And secondly, we're going to discuss about the scopes that one should cover to become a cyber profession. As I've indicated, one is the occupation in the cybersecurity, and two, the scopes within the cyberspace. So let's dive in and understand what uh, today we have to talk about. So basically, last in our previous episode or first episode, in case you missed, you can go to link down there, and I'll be sharing the link for the first episode, and also you can from our page you can get uh, the first episode. So we discussed about what is cybersecurity and much of the related introductory part of cybersecurity. So I'll just do a quick recap on the same. What is cybersecurity? Cybersecurity is the practice of protecting systems, networks, and data from digital attacks. These attacks are often aimed at accessing, altering, or destroying sensitive information, extorting money from users, or interrupting normal business operations. Yes, said technology has stretched its hand almost in every sector, be it healthcare, agriculture, transport. Almost every sector has a hand of technology in it, and all those infrastructures to have need to be secured, and therefore security, cybersecurity kicks in. So the role of cybersecurity is to implement technologies and processes and practice to prevent, detect, and respond to cyber threat. Yes, cybersecurity has already touched in explained in the previous episode. The first episode is it's not only the technical aspect, but it is deployed as a whole package whereby we have technologies, processes, and practices to prevent, detect, and respond to those. So we have these three process, or I can say action that need to be worked out to have a secure environment. That's technologies, processes, and practices. We'll be dissecting all those in next episode or future episodes. So whether it's an individual user privacy or corporate data, cybersecurity is a shield against a vast array of cyber threats. So cybersecurity is there to secure, uh, be it from an individual to a corporate or government entity. So long as you have a touch of technology in you, um, you need a pill of cybersecurity or a pill of cyberspace, safe cyberspace. So who needs cybersecurity? Everyone needs cybersecurity, as I said. So the world is interconnected, made possible by technology. As they say, the world has been made a small village through the aid of technology. So businesses of all sides, from global enterprises to small local shops, need to protect their data, intellectual property, and customer information. Yes, wherever you have handling any given data, that data is sensitive to that given context. When the data is manipulated to other uses, it becomes uh, chaotic, or it causes a problem. That's why we say data is the new oil, data is the new gold, and it should be intended for the targeted or for the intended purpose only. So on a personal level, or a personal front, individuals need cybersecurity to safeguard their personal information, like their social media uh, application or pages, uh, banking apps. Your banking app is very crucial. The information that you feed through your bank application is quite crucial. Emails from identity theft, fraud, or surveillance. So everyone needs cybersecurity, whether you're running a company or using a smartphone. Cybersecurity affects you in one way or another, so long as you're using these technological products. And in our first episode, we had discussed on all those relation between technology and cybersecurity. So you can go back and uh, have a look on the same. So let's jump to the business of the day. So what is some of the cybersecurity occupations or occupations within the cyberspace? Uh, First is the cybersecurity analyst or security analyst. These profession are uh, are there to ensure that monitor are there to ensure that networks and systems are monitored against suspicious activities, investigate security incidents, and implement protective measures to safeguard organizational data. Yes, cybersecurity analysts are there to monitor the networks and system for any anomalies or and even investigate security incident. Uh, Cybersecurity comes as an analyst comes with a whole package of uh, monitoring and investigating in case there is a breach, but and even implementing protective measures to the organization against any future or predicted uh, data threat against the data of the organization. Next, there is a penetration tester, also known as an ethical hacker. Basically, this profession stimulates cyber attacks on system and network to find the vulnerabilities before malicious hackers can exploit them. Yes, penetration tests are just hackers, but they conduct their process in an ethical manner where there is a documentation to to contract the process where it's called a rule of engagement contract, whereby you're given a contract to by a client, a target, be it organization or individual, so that you can still simulate some attacks on the system and understand where the weakness of the system is and before a bad hacker can exploit them. So after understanding the vulnerabilities, action is taken, necessary action is taken, and the system is contained. So next line is security architect. They are in charge of designing, implementing, and managing an organizational security infrastructure, ensuring robust defense are in place against cyber threat. Yes, cyber security architect are basically in charge of the designs and the organization security architect. And one thing we should understand that right from the design of the infrastructure, we are able to point out the vulnerability or this the strength or the weakness of the system from the design. Therefore, an aspect of security there to make sure the design is robust and is there in place that can withstand all the vulnerabilities or all uh, the expert that can be worked on against the system. They implement and even secure through the implementation system, design and implementation stage. They make sure that all the layers of security are have also been integrated through to make sure the system is robust when it comes to having a soundproof uh, cyberspace. Next is an incident responder, also known as IR. They act quickly in an event of security breach, investigating the incident, mitigating the impact, and helping to restore operations. Yes, these IR are also are called when wherever there's a security breach has occurred or there's a prediction of a security breach, and they're there to investigate the incident, mitigate the impact so that the incident cannot spread any further, and to restore the operations. Yes, after a breach has occurred, we need to have uh, a profession who is in charge of investigating the incident and even mitigating that impact. Network security engineer is another profession who focuses on securing network infrastructures. The name suggests network engineer. So they're basically in charge of the network infrastructure and all the devices that are used within the operation of networking, like the firewalls and the VPN, to make sure that the data transmission is safe. And network engineers are quite handy because in the cyberspace, we need to understand the networking and all the protocols or all the rules of networking, because all these devices communicate using the network, and having a secure network environment is very important, very crucial, because that's the medium of our information or for our precious data transmission. Cybersecurity consultant, this provide to expert advice to organization on how to protect their system, conduct security assessment, and help develop security strategies. Yes, cybersecurity consultants come with a lot of wealth of experience, and therefore they share the information or the advice to organization on how they can implement strategies that can make sure that the environment is sound safe when it comes to cyber security. Forensics analysts, also known as the FA, they are in charge of investigating crimes by analyzing digital evidence such as logs, files to trace malicious activities and identify attackers. So after a security breach, we call an IR incident responder who will mitigate the spread uh, of the breach and also restore the system. And also we call a forensic analyst, FA, who will analyze the digital uh, evidence presented by the instant responder, because those are the first people to come to the site or to to uh, to appear to the scene. Uh, so after analyzing the digital evidence, like the logs, they are in charge of tracing the malicious actors if there are any traces that are or shells that are left behind to to attach them to whoever did the attack, and also to identify what what kind of data was siphoned out, and if the data was encrypted or not decrypted, and if the data has any impact. So a forensic analyst gives a detailed report of understanding what happened after the security breach. Chief Information Security Officer, also known as a CEO, CISO, is next in line. These are like a CEO or a CEO of a company or organization, but they're in charge of the security posture of the organization. So that the senior most executive responsible for developing and implementing an organization's overall security strategy. So they implement the overall security strategy, managing security teams and ensuring regulatory compliance. Yes, and I said the compliance comes with them. We have so many compliance that comes with the industry of operation, and that every organization needs to adhere to, or to subscribe or to implement in their system or their infrastructure. Cloud security engineer, we could not afford to miss this, because in our previous episode we discussed some of the emerging technologies, and we reinforced the importance of cloud computing, whereby it has come with a lot of advantages um, to cost cut, and to make sure that our data is can even can be stored in a place that is scalable, whereby whenever you have massive data, we can easily scale uh, to the required capacity. Therefore, a cloud security engineer focuses on securing cloud environment, managing risk, and protecting data stored in cloud-based infrastructure. Yes, uh, a cloud environment is just like a warehouse. Therefore, we need to have make sure our warehouse is clean, and whenever we store in data or our belongings or our consignments, it's in a safe place, sound place that is secure from everything. Therefore, the same thing with the cloud security engineer, who ensures that data stored in the cloud is protected and uh, follows the standard of cloud environment. Cybersecurity auditor ensures that organization comply with security policies and regulatory compliance, evaluating system for vulnerabilities and compliance gap. Yes, basically just like any our common auditors that we are used to, financial auditor or accounting auditor, of economist auditors. Uh, so we have also an auditor in the cyberspace who is in charge of ensuring organization comply with the policies and regulatory compliance. So what the auditor does, they have the requirement, like a list of what is required, and the counter check of what the organization is doing through the check and balances to understand what the organization is missing and what should be implemented when it comes to compliant gaps. GRC is another common profession, which stands for governance, risk, and compliance. Profession in this field focus on helping organization manage their governance process, assess and mitigate risk, and ensure compliance with the regulatory and standards. Yes, we have so many regulatory standards out there when it comes to cyber security or cyberspace, and each regulatory compliance is tied to the region or geographical region, like or a country. For example, we have HIPAA, which for it's used in the United States for the healthcare system. All the healthcare organizations need to adhere to the HIPAA standard. GDPR, that's for general data privacy for people within or individuals within the European region. We have PCI. This is in charge of companies that are in charge of credit cards that should comply with PCI. There are so many compliance standards that need to be implemented that we'll be covering later on. So GRC is a non-technical cybersecurity profession that is in charge of the compliance and standards. For those who maybe want to venture into cybersecurity but are afraid of the technical aspect, GRCs are there for anyone who wants to be in the space but is afraid of dipping fingers into the technical aspect. So after understanding that we have so many professionalism within, but just to cover a few, we have so many. So just to understand who can get into cybersecurity after understanding all those uh, professionals that I've covered, you need to you ask yourself, am I even really the person who can get into this space, or is it meant for me, or does it have a restricting criteria? No. The good thing about cybersecurity is that anyone with the right mindset can break into the field, so long as you have right mindset of what uh, to be covered and be ready to endure the journey. Because as I said, cybersecurity is a journey, it's not a destination. We have so many to cover. We have a lot of research to cover. We have a lot of information need to to learn. So much of hands-on lab practicals that you need to cover. So even only the right mindset can get into the industry. Uh, whether you are a tech enthusiast, college student, or someone switching career, this field is just meant for you. No limits are there within the cyberspace. So all it takes is passion to learn and stay updated, because apart from classwork, you need to have information news every day. You need to be in a forum to understand what's going out here in terms of what is the security posture, what are the news saying about the security posture, what is the emerged ransomware or the trick that hackers are using, so that you can stay ahead on top of the game, so that you can be able to secure well all your systems. So many profession enter from IT background, but it's just a common for people from legal, business, or any in the field, so long as you have decided to break into this industry. So next in line, we're going to discuss on the scopes, some of the scopes that should be covered in the cybersecurity, or not only cyber, in the information security space. So after covering the first part, and you need to understand who can or you have understood who can get into cyberspace. So the next thing is to understand what is covered, or what should I cover. You're asking yourself, now I want to venture into this industry. I've heard so many stories about it. Now you want to venture, you don't know, you don't have the posture of where to start, where to begin. Now, the first thing we need to know is the tools. Cybersecurity covers a range of technology and disciplines. So if you need to go through and to understand the tools of trade. Knowing how to use the right tools is essential. If we have so many tools to be and the classification of tools, because we have vulnerability scanners, network scanners, packet analyzers, penetration testing tools. We need to understand these tools and to the context that they are being applied. For example, the most common and or most popular tool is Nmap is for network scanning, Wireshark for packet analysis, Metasploit for penetration testing. All these tools will be covering and we'll be using as we move on in our next upcoming episodes. So tools of trade is quite important. The next in line is a strong foundation in networking is a must. Is a big must, in fact, because as I said, all these devices use network for communication, and understanding those protocols or rules of communication is very important. And basically, what a hack is manipulating those laid down protocols of communication. We have the TCP, IP, we have the DNS, VPN. uh, VPNs, you have to understand to be able to secure, you need to understand the posture, because you can't really secure what you don't know. Therefore, networking is very, very important. Next in line is programming. You need to understand some programming language. Languages like Python are vital for automation, scripting, and quick problem solving in cybersecurity. And I've really emphasized on this. Cybersecurity entails a lot of data and information uh, packets that keeps on incoming and that need to be analyzed in real time. For example, you're having a DDoS or distributed denial of attack. Uh, to be able to analyze all this and to stop all these attacks, you need to have a scripting tool or an automating tool, because as an individual or a human being, it becomes hectic to be able to handle such kind of massive attacks or massive data that is incoming. So Python is it's quite handy when it comes to automating and scripting and even quick problem solving in such a situation as I just mentioned, like DDoS. You also use it to automate tasks like log analysis or vulnerability scanning. Yes, Python is very handy in so many ways. Even in it's also used as a tool like in vulnerability scanning. SQL is another key language, especially for detecting and preventing database attacks. Yes, if you want to do anything to do with the database, you have to be fast with SQL. Another language that is handy but it's rarely used. It relies on the to operate within the server is the PHP. You need to understand the PHP, a little bit of PHP, because it's a server scripting language. So anything to do with the server, you need to be able uh, to handle it. So programming language is another thing, but you need to start step by step. You don't have to understand all these languages or all these programming languages that are go. You can go step by step. So next in line that everyone need to understand when it comes to cyber security, or if you want to learn about information security rather, is cyber threat intelligence or CTI. It involves gathering and analyzing information to anticipate and defend against cyber threats. Yes, you need to be able to gather information and analyze the information that has been gathered, and through the information you can have a sound decision on what's going on, and and how to defend, and even to draw a pattern of what is expected. Right now, we have a machine learning that can be configured into our system so that we can, through the data that has been gathered, machine learning can be able to draw a pattern and understand where is the anomaly, where is there any expected attack according to the data presented, and so many much more that can be filtered out of the machine learning tools. So it's very important to understand CTI. Operating system and its security. Yes, you need to understand, because the operating system are the environment that you'll be working on. These are the playground that will be hosting all our operations. So having a good posture of Windows and Linux is very important to understand the weaknesses within those both operating system. You have so many, you have CentOS, we have Ubuntu, we have so many distributions that you need to understand. You need to understand, but basically you need to know Linux and the Windows, because Linux has a lot of tools for hacking and penetration testing, or rather securing the space. So understanding the weaknesses and the strength of those both operating system is very important. uh, Cybersecurity frameworks, governance, and compliance. Yes, these are musts, because I said cybersecurity is not only the technical aspect. We need to understand even the programs and processes like the governance and the compliance frameworks. So frameworks like ISO 27001, NIST, or GDPR are critical to ensure that businesses follow security-based practices. Yes, all these compliance standards are implemented by the government of that governing that particular geographical location, and they tend to, after very keen analysis, they tend to understand that every institution uh, that implements the stipulated framework will end up achieving, or will contribute to achieving a better or a soundproof infrastructure, security infrastructure, or in terms of the posture of the infrastructure. will be soundproof or better good for everyone. So frameworks and compliance is very important. We shall be covering all these bits we shall be covering later on. Next in line is identity and access management. It involves managing user identities and the access to systems and data. Yes, I said data is the new oil or new gold, and we don't want everybody to have access to our gold or to our oil. We only need access should only be intended for those who need and to a particular level. Not everyone should have all their permissions to access because in in technology or in digital asset management, we have rules that, for example, you can render someone a rule just for reading, others can be rendered a rule for writing, and others can be rendered a rule for implementing or changing. Or yes, so all these fall under identity and access management and are very quite important to understand, to control whoever gets in and what they do with our data. Incident response is another thing that you cannot avoid to miss. A focus on in preparing for and responding to security incidents. As I said, IRs are called upon whenever there is a security breach or a speculated or already occurred breach. So they are called in to able to respond to the incident, and after responding, they give away for or restore the systems back to normalcy. So these include developing an incident response plan. Yes, we should have a incident response plan. After having all these systems set or having our infrastructure, a very good posture of infrastructure set, we need to have an incident response plan because you cannot reduce uh, like risk. You cannot reduce, you cannot eliminate risk, but you can reduce the level of risk or minimize the risk level. So having an incident response plan is quite handy because when such an incident or whenever an incident occurs, you can just refer on on the stipulation of the incident response plan and have quick flow of everything. Conducting drills is another very important thing because it keeps the environment or the users within that environment aware of what should be done whenever such an incident occurs, uh, to reduce a panic mode because you can get most of the people get into panic mode and that they destroy a lot of things because of the emotions that are running through. But having conducting drills, it makes everyone comfortable to be able to handle that situation whenever they arise. Post incident analysis is another thing. Yes, after an incident, what should we do next is another quite handy thing to have a plan or a rollout plan for the same. Cloud security, yes, the is focused on protecting data application in the cloud environment. I won't go much deeper into that, but as I said before, a cloud environment should be secured and integrating that with the IAM, that is identity and access management, because I said that's where we store our oil, that's where we store our gold. So having identity and access management within our cloud security is important. Who can enter? That's authentication. We need to authorize who, after authenticate, you need to authorize who is entering there and even monitor what are they doing. So cloud security is important to be able to understand everything, every process that happens within our cyberspace or our cloud security space. So next is information application security. Yes, you can't move even without understanding information and application security. Information security encompasses protecting sensitive data from unauthorized access and disclosure. These involve encrypting, accessing control, and data loss prevention strategies. Yes, uh, having a soundproof uh, information infrastructure is important because our data or information in any given state, whether it is in motion or in storage, should have all those security features implemented like encryption, access control, um, and in case someone gets into our data, we have to have systems that will prevent data loss. Will prevent data loss. So encrypting data is important because whenever an intruder gets into our system, having access to our data without or all the control levels have been neutralized, and they are having access to our data, or the hackers have access to data. If the data is encrypted, it will be rendered useless because it will have no value to any given case. But if it's not encrypted, yes, they will get access to everything because it's stored in a raw form. So information security is important. Next is application security. It involves securing application from vulnerabilities during the development and deployment stage. Yes, so many organizations fail to implement security on the onset stage of during the development stage, and it becomes a challenging task when you want to integrate security to already developed infrastructure. Therefore, you need to penetrate or to find ways to maneuver across the already established infrastructure. This comes again to the application. If you're developing an application that just are away from the coding practices or the developing practices, you need to do code scanning to ensure that the coding practices are acceptable. So before in deploying the application, we have no loop within our vulnerability, because if you have a loop in our code as a vulnerability, it can be exploited, and that can be used to escalate to other environments that are really been secured. Therefore, application security is another thing that everyone needs to understand. We shall be doing that and shall be demonstrating in the practicals how to code and how to scan for those codes and vulnerabilities in that code before deploying the application. Incident response and risk management. Yes, incident response, I can't talk much about that because I've been covering that everywhere, but to get a quick touch on that. It focuses on preparing for and responding to security incidents. Yes, we prepare before they occur and respond to those breaches. These include developing an incident response plan, conducting drills, and post-incident analysis. Yes, I said that before. Risk management involves identifying, assessing, and prioritizing risk to organization assets. These include conducting risk assessment and implementing risk mitigation strategies. Yes, we need to have a risk management plan because every wherever we have two operations or one operation run against the other, there is a risk we are facing, or we are trying to outrun. Therefore, we need to make the risk level low. But you cannot eliminate the risk level, but you can reduce the risk level to the minimum levels. Disaster recovery and business continuity is very important. Yes, after a breach has occurred, so what next? After a breach has hit a business, so what next? Will business shut down? We need to have those discovery plans and for the business to continue. So this focus on maintaining operation and recovering from disruptions. This include developing a disaster recovery plan and conducting regular testing and updates. Yes, by having the recovery plan, and you're able to know whatever whenever you're having an incident, watch the channel to follow. Basically, what we have covered here in these scopes are all the uh, building factors to a profession, information security profession. All these building factors everyone needs to know and need to understand, so that you can be able to handle any given incident, or be wherever you're in a given environment, you can be able to run across. So this brings us to the end of our episode. And just to remind you that cybersecurity is a journey, it's not a destination. It keeps on it keeps on changing. There are so many things that are being covered every day. We are having a lot of information, or the posture keeps on changing, and therefore you need to be aware of this and be ready to tackle everything that comes along the way. So long as you are fast with the information and tools. So this being our final part. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel and just like, comment, and subscribe. Share your thoughts below. Until next time, stay safe in the cyberspace. Bye.